Welcome back. This is session 6. This session is on sequence, list and set. Means a kind of array with different type of elements. As usual, first we will see some examples, demonstration, 4-5 examples, and then we'll understand the concept theoretically. You'll find some overlap because when we discuss data type, I introduced some of them briefly. But not all operations were discussed during the demonstration, during the first lecture on data types, where I discussed dictionaries and sequences. So list of programs, if you look at ls-l, these are the program Python 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 programs are there. Without wasting time, the program number 1, if I try cat python1.py, guess the output. This program is list 1 is assigned the value physics, chemistry 1997 2000. So there are 4 values in it. Second list is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now if I type the first element of list 1, that is if I want to print physics, I can use list 0, I can pass the index the way we use strings, because the concept is same. In string also we can use slicing, here also we can use slicing. So this is element number 0 will be printed. If you type list 2, element number 1 to 5, that means 0, 1, 2, 3, the element will be printed in from list 2, that is second list. So element number 0 is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So before 5 it will stop, you will see up to 4. Similarly, new value, can we insert the value, can we update the value, because object can be replaced. When you update, it is not overwrite, it is not update, it is actually will be overwritten. So this new will be new element will be assigned. So list 2 is this item 1997. So if I replace it with 2001, yes, it will replace it, and we can new element, new available value at index number 2 in the list will be, you can try to find out what is the new value after the change, and you can delete the element. What will happen after deleting, what will be the element at index number 2 in list 1. So this example demonstrate assigning, slicing, updating and deleting elements from a list. Complete example. So let's try python 3 python1.py. So first element is physics, as usual, element is physics. 1 to 4 is element number 2, 3, 4, 5, because counter start as 0, so 1 will be 2. So 2, 3, 4, 5 will be displayed, because it displays less than 1. So element number 5 means less, when we say 5, it will be 1 less than 5, which is 4. So 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So that element number 5 is the last element to be displayed in slicing. New value at index number 2 after update, because we inserted one value, so it will be 2001. When we remove this element, the next element will become this element number 2, because we are removing this one element. So one element will be removed, and after that element number 2 index number at index 2 will be 2000. Let's look at once again. The cat command was given here. This is the cat command. We are printing the entire element, not index number 2. There is some typo here. We are printing the complete list, not the element number 2. So though it is same thing, 0, 1 and 2. So element number 2 will be 2000. Now let's look at second program. This was the slicing, removing, updating elements of a list. Now let's try the second program. This is same program. We are actually trying the same program, where element at index number 2, print element number 2, update element number 2, print element at after update, what will happen. So same program, little fine-tuned, only update part is demonstrated. So earlier the element number 2 is 1997, that is 0, 1 and 2. We are replacing it. After replace, new element is 2001. That here we are printing the entire list, but after this is a specific element printing and displaying the specific element from the list using this. So this is the program number 2. That's how we update. So this example demonstrates, can we update, can we change the elements of a list by accessing them through the index with the help of index? Answer is yes, that's what we have seen. Let's look at the third program. Third program is same program, but here we are deleting, printing list 1, deleting list 2, after we are deleting the list element number 2, then after deleting value at index number 2, what is the element? So same program again with a different context, slightly different, but that means we are deleting element number 2. This one is deleted, and after that the entire list will become this physics, chemistry and 2000. Now the program number 4. The program number 4 is a dictionary. Dictionary is name is Zara, age is 7, class is first. Now delete dictionary by passing an index. So we are passing the index name. Remove the entry with key name. So this element will be deleted. Dictionary clear. It remove all entries in the list. List will become empty. Entire dictionary will become empty. Delete dictionary. Entire dictionary will be deleted. Now that means if you try these commands, they will not work. They should throw error. That means end result of this should be error. This program should not work. Let's try. Will it work? No, it is not working, because we are getting the object is not available. The element we are trying to access here, age, is not available. This element is not subscriptable. That means the element is gone, because the entire dictionary is deleted here. Delete dictionary. And let's try the last program. Program number 5. This is same program. We are here printing, but this is if you try it this way, dictionary name, because we are assigning the value with this square bracket. Though to fetch the value we are using square bracket, delete or identifying the element, but assigning the value with square bracket not acceptable. This is not allowed. So that means this program will also throw error that no, we can't assign this way. This is what is happening in this program. It's we are trying to assign by passing a list element. That key cannot have this kind of way. This is not the way we specify case. So this element will also throw error. So this is not acceptable. Unhashable type list, not allowed. This one, because passing element to specify the key this way you cannot. This is wrong syntax. Another program, last program to practice is, oh, this is not there. So let's continue. 5 programs demonstrated. Let's continue. Sequences, dictionaries and sets. Sequence. The most basic data structure in Python is the sequence. Each element of a sequence is assigned a number, its position or index. The first index is 0, second element is 1, and so forth. Has built-in types for sequences, but the most common type is list and tuples. There are certain things you can do with all sequence types, like indexing is possible for all sequences, slicing is possible for all sequencing, adding, multiplying and checking for membership is possible for all sequences. In addition, Python has built-in functions for finding the length of a sequence and for finding its largest and smallest elements. That's also available. So Python list is the most versatile data type, which can be written as a list of comma separated values, that is items, between square brackets. Creating a list is as simple as list 1 physics, chemistry. I mean, the data type is not important here. You are putting the strings here, you are putting integers, values here, so that's also allowed. Only values separated by comma, or only strings separated by comma. All these assignments, all these initializations are possible. Like string indices, list indices start at 0. The list can be sliced, concatenated, and so on. Now this is the example I demonstrated the program number 1. To manage values in the list, we use the square bracket for slicing, along with the index or indices to obtain value available at that index. So list 1 is physics chemistry 1997 and 2000. List 2, now that's what the program I demonstrated. I explained this program, and I hope there is no problem in this program. This is the output. You can update single or multiple elements in the list by giving the slice on the left hand side of the assignment operator, and you can add to the elements in the list with the append method. So append method can also be used, and directly you can assign the value if you want to update, or you can want to change the value. Append is not used in this example, but yes, updating, replacing the existing object is demonstrated. List 2, that is element at index number 2, is being replaced with the 2001. To remove a list element, you can either del statement, use either the del statement, or if you know exactly which elements you are deleting, you can or remove method if you do not know. So deleting the element at index number 2. So these are basic list operations. For example, length, and you passing a list, so result will be 3. So it is actually the length of list elements. 1 2 3 list plus 4 5 6 element list. So we are using plus, that means this is concatenation operator. So we'll give you 1 2 3 4 5 6. List high multiplied by 4, so we will get the element 4 times 4, so it is repetition. 3 in 1 2 3, it will be true because this is a membership example. For x in 1 2 3, print x and equal to blank. This is actually iteration and accessing all the elements of the list one by one. Indexing, slicing, and matrices. Because lists are sequences, indexing and slicing work the same way for lists as they do for strings. Assuming that we have this list, spam, spam, and spam, all small case, first character capital, all caps. Now if I use L2, what will I expect? 0, 1 and 2. So I'll expect result as spam because offset starts at 0. If I use L minus 2, what will happen? L minus 2. Minus 2 means the negative value starts. So minus 1, minus 2, because negative value does not start with 0. It starts with minus 1. So minus 3. So what do you expect? Minus 2 is spam. Negative count from right hand side. 1 colon. So you are starting with 1 and 2 because you are not giving end. So slicing fetches the sections. And these are built-in functions and method for list, like CMP, that is compare. You pass two list items, list variable types, so object types. So list 1 and list 2, it will compare elements of both lists. Then length of list, give the total number of elements on the list, in the list. Max list, return the items from the list which has the max value. Minimum will return the minimum value item with the minimum value from the list. And list sequence, convert the tuple into a list. Then second data type in sequences is dictionaries. Dictionaries consist of pairs called items of keys and their corresponding values. Python dictionaries are also known as associative arrays or hash tables. So this is for dictionary 1, Alice with a value 2341, Beth with value 9102, with Cecil value 3258. This is second dictionary, this is third dictionary. So keys are unique within a dictionary, while values may not be. The values of a dictionary can be of any type, but the keys must be of an immutable data type such as strings, numbers or tuples. Each key is separated from its value by colon. The items are separated by commas and the whole thing is enclosed in curly braces. So the empty dictionary will be written as curly braces start and close. So these are all elements, all examples of dictionary. Dictionary name Zara, age 7, class first, dictionary name, edit or dictionary name. So this is what we are passing here, elements of a list. While assigning, as I discussed already, that yes, this is possible. You are typing dictionary name and you are passing an element to it. So you are actually calling another list here, and we are populating that with the key values. Print dictionary age, and you are adding a new element, dictionary school is equal to DPS school. Print dictionary school, you will get the value of element at the key school. Explicitly remove the entire dictionary, just use the del statement. Delete individual elements, clear the entire dictionary, delete the dictionary. So these statements are wrong because the entire dictionary is deleted. So that exception is raised because the entire dictionary is deleted. Delete dictionary does not exist anymore. Therefore you got this error. Properties of dictionary keys. Dictionary values have no restrictions. However, there are restrictions on keys. They can be arbitrary Python objects, either standard objects or user-defined objects. However, same is not true for keys. There are two important points to remember about the dictionary keys. One, more than one entry per key not allowed. They must be unique, which means no duplicate keys is allowed. When duplicate keys are encountered during assignment, the last assignment wins. Means if I say name Zara, age 7, name money, I'm assigning duplicate keys, name and name. So this will go and this will be the last value, this will win. So we'll have two elements, one is age, second is name. So when you try to print, you will get these values. So this money will be printed. So the output will be dictionary name is money. Key must be immutable. That is the second restriction, which means you can use strings, numbers or tuples as dictionary keys, but something like this is not allowed. So when you try to dictionary is equal to name Zara, key 7, and you are trying to print it, then this will not work. This is not allowed. This is unhashable type list, not acceptable. Built-in dictionary functions and methods. Compare same functions. Dictionary 1, dictionary 2 will compare elements of both dictionaries. Length of dictionary gives the total length of dictionary, that is number of items in the dictionary. String dictionary, it produces a printable string representation of a dictionary. Type followed by variable, return the type of the past variable. If the past variable is a dictionary, then it would return dictionary type. Some more Python dictionary methods. Dictionary.clear will remove all elements of the dictionary DICT, that is object name you are specifying here. If your object name is DICT, assuming that your object name is DICT, so DICT.copy, so it will call copy method of dictionary will return shallow copy of the dictionary DICT. So DICT, this may be donkey, this may be anything. So let's take it as A1 keys. This will create a new dictionary with keys from the sequence and the value set at the value what you specified. Dictionary.get keys and default is none. Whatever key you are passing, for the key what you are passing here It returns the value of default or value or the default if the key is not in the dictionary. Means default is none, means do not return anything if the key does not exist. Don't throw error. Dictionary has keys and you are passing a key. You are verifying whether the key exists in the dictionary or not. Return true if the key in dictionary exists in this dictionary, false otherwise. Dictionary.items return a list of dictionary key value tuple pairs. Dict keys, you are passing all the keys. Dictionary, you are passing getting all the keys of the dictionary. Dictionary update DICT2, dictionary number 2, that is second dictionary we are passing. So add dictionary 2's key value pairs to this dictionary. Values, return the list of dictionary values. These functions appear simple and easy, but the usage will make them meaningful, and use cases is actually going to be important, and at that time you will recollect what is the function which I can use to fetch a specific key only, or the value only, or key value pair both, or I want to verify whether the key exists or not, or I want to check the value at a given key if it exists. If no, don't display error, default none. So I mean the scenarios will make sense. Right now they may not make any sense discussing these examples, because these are just functions. So we need to practice these functions. You need to try these functions, and you can search and you can try your own example by assigning some values. The way I created some examples, you can create some examples for you. You need to memorize, you need to practice, you need to have some confidence, because when you are forming sentences, forming programs, you need to have the things handy. The concept should be handy at that time, the function should be handy. It should not be running here and there to find out which function I can use. Next element is set. Set is object that store a collection of data in the same way as mathematical set, which we have done in schools. All items must be unique. Unsorted elements can be of different data types. There is a function set which is used to create set. For empty set you can call set. For non-empty set you can call set followed by argument, where argument is the object that contains iterable elements. For example, argument can be a list, can be a string, or can be a tuple. If the argument is a string, each character becomes a set element. For set of strings, pass them as functions as a list. To pass them to the function as a list. If the argument contains duplicate, only one of the duplicate will appear in the set. We have a couple of functions for set, so we need to understand these functions first. Length function returns the number of elements in the set. They are mutable objects. That means we can change the value in place. Add method adds an element to the set. Update method adds a group of elements to the set. But argument must be sequence containing iterable elements, and each of the element is added to the set. This is example of sets. For example, basket equal to apples, orange, apple, pear, orange, banana. So we are using curly braces, but there is no key value pair here. So therefore this is a set, and we are trying to print it, print basket. So we'll get all these elements. So shows that duplicate values have been removed, because the apple is appearing twice, so it will be removed. Orange is appearing twice, so it will be removed. So you will get only apple, orange, banana. So you will get single value: orange, banana, pear, apple. Unique values are printed. Do we have orange in the basket? This is membership. Answer is true. So you will get, because we are working directly at the Python prompt to understand the concept. A equals set of some arbitrary number of characters. B is set of another set of characters. Now we are printing A. You are simply typing A. So unique letters in A. what all unique letters in A are there, because it will remove duplicates. So A, B, R, this will be removed. C, then this A will also be removed. D, so you will get A, R, B, C, D. That's it. Duplicate values are removed. A minus B, that is intersection. Letters in A but not in B. Not intersection. Minus, negation. Letters which are there in A but not in B. A minus B. So R, D and B. This is symbol is A, letters in A or in B or both. Means either this or both. Means common elements. Not common, again. Common will become intersection. I'm sorry. Again, what is happening to me? Common means union. I'm not talking about union here. No, there's no order. You are just checking like A, C, R, D, B. There's no order. Nothing. Just elements. It will remove duplicate. You can take any element. There is no order here. They are just distinct, unordered. That was definition. That was characteristic I discussed. That elements in the sets are unordered. There is no order. That's a statement from me. Orders, elements in sets are unordered, and the same is the characteristics of RDBMS. When you studied MySQL, remember there was a statement at one point in time. I still remember that statement. All the tuples, attributes of a tuple are unordered. Tuples are also unordered from top to bottom. Columns are also unordered from left to right. No order, because they are treated as sets only, and we use set theory in actually real algebra of RDBMS algebra. We call it as relational algebra. So letter in A and B both. This is the intersection. This is what I used twice in a wrong way, and this is actually the intersection. Intersection means this is set A, this is set B. So what are the common area of set and A? This is the intersection. So this is represented by this ampersand sign. So these are the two elements. Letters in A or B but not on both. Exclusive or. So either in A or in B but not in both. So these are the elements which are in A and B but they are not common. That means we are printing only this part. That is minus intersection. So we are printing this element and these elements, but not this element. No, we are not printing this element. We are printing these, the common areas. Let me shade again separately. This, we are printing this area, not the common area. Minus this. That is caret symbol. This is another example. My set 1, 2, 3. Print my set. So set the mixed data type. Then my set is equal to 1.0 hello. So you can have list elements. You can have entire list in the set. You can have string in the test. You can have float in the test. So point is that we can have mixed data type. There is no limitations in the type of elements we can have in the set. Deleting elements from the set. We have remove and discard methods. Remove the specified items from the set. The item that should be removed is passed to both methods as an argument. Behave differently when specified item is not found in the set. Like remove method raise a key error exception if the element is not found. Discard method does not raise an exception. Clear method clear all elements of the set. Using for loop in and not in operators. Though the loop part, as I discussed, is coming up next session, session number 7 will be loops and constructs like if statement and all. We are going to discuss that is in the next lecture. A for loop can be used to iterate over elements in the set. General format is for item in set. Item is a user defined variable and set is the user defined set. We are checking for item whatever the value of the item is, and this item variable will take one value at a time for the all elements one by one. The loop iterates once for each element in the set. The in operator can be used to test whether a value exists in the set or not. Similarly, the not in operator can be used to test whether a value does not exist in the set. Negation. Finding unions. Unions of two sets means a set that contains all elements of both sets but without repeating them. They should appear once. So to find the unions of two sets, you can use union method. Set1 dot union set2. You can use this operator. We have seen that in action with example in the previous slide, that yes, we use this to find out the union. Both technique return new set which contains union of both the sets. Intersection. You can use intersection method. Intersection of two sets means the set that contains only the element found in both elements or both sets. So you can use intersection method, that is a set1 dot intersection set2, or you can use ampersand operator. So this also gives you the intersection. Both technique returns a new set which contains the intersection of both sets. Finding the difference of both sets. Difference of two sets is set that contains element that appears in the first set but do not appear in the second set. That is minus. So difference method can be used, set1 dot difference of set2, or you can use minus operator. Finding the symmetric difference of the sets. Symmetric difference of two sets means a set that contains elements that are not shared by two sets. That means minus intersection. Apart from intersection, whatever the elements are. To find symmetric difference of two sets, you use symmetric underscore difference method, like set1 dot symmetric difference set2, or you can use caret symbol operator. That the example was demonstrated right in the beginning. Finding subsets and supersets. Set A is subset of set B if all elements in set A are included in set B. To determine whether a set A is a subset of set B, we can use is subset method, or we can use this operator. So set A is subset of B is set B, then it will return true. Or you can use this less than equal to symbol. Set A less than equal to set B means it is a part of set B or not. Set A is a superset of B if it contains all elements of set B. To check the superset, we have the method is superset method. Set A is superset of set B, or we can use greater than equal to operator. So this also will show you the superset condition, whether the set A is superset of set B or not. Exception handling is going to be very interesting, because this is what we'll do when we'll do real examples, real life projects, as I discussed. After our programming concepts are cleared, after 7-8 lectures, maybe 10 lectures, after we finish the 10 lectures or 12 lectures, we are going to look at all the real life examples. We'll spend at least 10-15 hours in understanding various projects, various examples once we build the concepts. That's how it's going to be. It's not going to be only the conceptual programming. We'll discuss a lot of examples to have the clear, Python very clear in the mind. So exception handling is what exactly is going on wrong, and to display a meaningful message to the user rather than the system defined messages. So an exception is an event which occurs during the execution of a program, and that disrupts the normal flow of the program's instructions. In general, when a Python script encounters a situation that it cannot cope with, it raises an exception. An exception is a Python object that represents an error. By definition, it is an object that represents an error. When Python script raises an exception, it must either handle the exception immediately, otherwise it would terminate and come out. If you have some suspicious code that may raise an exception, you can defend your program by placing suspicious code in a try block. So you have to write the try block. You put the code where you feel that exception may occur. You put that under try catch. So the problem, after you put the try block, include an except statement that follows a block of code which handle the problem as elegantly as possible. For example, try. You write this try, you indent your code, you write your code whatever you want. Except, this is exception 1. So you are writing situation that if this was the case, then you specify the meaningful message to the user. Except exception 2, this second condition, like these are error conditions. So if this was the error, display this message, then execute this block. Exception number 2, error condition 2, execute this step. So you are specifying possible conditions of error and the way they should be handled. Else, if nothing matches, then what? Then execute this block. That means if there are 5 possible errors and you only know 2 of them, so you will write 2 of them here, plus you write else. That means there might be other regions which I am not aware of. Syntax. Some important points in Python syntax. The single try statement can have multiple except statements. This is useful when the try block contains statements that may throw different type of exceptions. You can also provide a generic except clause which handles any other exception which is not handled. After the except clauses, you can handle else clause. The code in the else block execute if the code in the try block does not raise an exception. The else block is good place for code that does not need to try, that is blocks protection. Sorry, that was wrong information in that case. The else block is when there is no exception raised. So this is example. Try fh open test file in write mode. Fh write, this is my test file for exception handling. IO error. If the error is IO, that is input output error, then you are displaying the message print can't find file or read data. Else, written content in the file successfully and close the file. So this else part is for successful part of the exception, when there is no exception actually. This is another example. Yes. This is another example. Try, open the file for reading. This file, my file for exception handling, IO error, can't find the file, else return data in file successfully. So this is the exception. If there is an error, if the file is not found, then it will raise an exception and you will see this message. Try finally clause. Use a finally clause along with try block. The finally block is a place to put any code that must execute whether the try block raise an exception or not. That means in all the cases. The syntax of try finally block is like try, this is the code, suspicious code, and finally this will be always executed whether the exception was raised or not. Note that you can provide except clause or a finally clause but not both. Else clause as well as you cannot use else clause as well along with a finally clause. So when you are using finally, you can't use else also. This is example. Try, this is code, again try, and you are writing finally. So this try has this final clause, and this is except. This except is for this try. So this is possible. When an exception is thrown in the try block, the exception immediately passes to the finally block. So that means here, after all the statements in the final block are executed, the exception is raised again and is handled in the except statement that is present in the next higher layer, because we are using a hierarchy here of the except statement. So this is example of single exception. Define a function, def some function, try, return integer variable, accept value error as an argument. Call this function here type convert. So this produced the following result. The argument does not contain numbers, invalid literal for integer with base 10 xyz. This is the exception part we are printing here. Argument does not contain numbers. Alright, So this is the exception handling example. So we understood a lot of concepts in this session that include sequences, which that is list, dictionary and sets, and finally exception handling was also discussed briefly. That's all for this session. Thank you.